Ivan, my man.
Hey.
How are you?
Jerry. Thank you
Thanks for coming.
having me.
Come on in. Let's go into the office. Hey, welcome guys. This is a really special video. I'm here with Ivan and he's going to be talking with us all about how he got started in real estate and 2 deals that he's done already. And most importantly, what I want to really focus on this video is how to overcome those fears, how to be persistent, how to not give up really is the theme of this video, how to not give up. So welcome to this video. Let's go.
This video is brought to you by 10K Club, a program that pays you $10,000 for finding ugly houses. Learn more at my10kcheck.com.
If you're new here to this channel, I'm Jerry Norton with flippingmastery.com, and this channel is all about ways to make money wholesaling and flipping real estate so you can live your dream life. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon so you don't miss new videos. All right, so Ivan, welcome
Jerry,
for being here. I know we're not
you.
supposed to shake hands, but we're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And thank you for coming. So Ivan lives here locally in Phoenix, about 20 minutes away. And so really excited to have you here. We're in the home office and we're gonna have just a candid conversation. And I hope that you listening right now can get a lot out of this video because Ivan is a really special experience for me and a really a great case study that hopefully gives a lot of people hope that are getting into this business. And I've been kind of teaching how to do wholesaling and flipping for about 10 years now, active full-time for 16 years. And I see a lot of people come and go in the industry because it's tough, right? It's really tough to go from maybe a job, a W-2 or doing some other type of thing and to kind of break into real estate, especially wholesaling and flipping. That's a tricky process. It's some things have to happen. There's that time of like, you know, how do I get that first deal? And then how do I now take it from like a deal to now a business that does deals? And Ivan, you've come through my advanced training. And one of the things I talk about a lot is not chasing a deal, which is easy to do, but actually focus on building a business that does deals. And that takes systems and processes and really kind of a big picture look at the business where you're thinking, you know, how do I do this on a consistent basis again and again? So, but I remember a conversation we had, and we'll turn this, and I'll have you kind of pipe in now, where you were like, man, I don't know if this is going to work. I'm at my wit's end. I'm so frustrated. I've been doing all these things. I've been following, you know, the program and making offers, and I'm just not getting that traction. And so maybe talk about that. What was that feeling like, that experience?
It was a unpleasant experience. So just to take it back a little bit, I forced myself into this situation because I knew myself and I knew that was the only way I was gonna make something happen. I've worked for 8-9 years for the same employer, and I decided it was time to move on. Didn't know what route to take. And I came across wholesaling and flipping, and I always knew real estate was the way to go, and I just decided to do that. And because of that decision, without having an idea what I was going to do, I put myself in that situation, and I tried to do everything that happened and everything I learned from the course. I tried to apply it the best I could, and I got 90% no's.
Yeah,
you know, and I got.
And you jumped in full time, right? Like you said, I'm cutting this. I'm going full time.
Yeah,
which is a scary decision to make, right?
It is. I know myself, and I thought that was the only way I was going to be able to do that, and actually take it serious because I mean I'm a father of 2, and you know I put all that weight on my shoulders, but I knew I had to make it happen, you know. So there was no coming back after that, and that's when we had that conversation.
Yeah,
and. Thank God you were encouraging, you know, and I wanted to make it happen, and I just needed that confirmation sometimes, you know, that you can do it. You
can do it.
It's something that it is possible, and us on the other side, that our students see it very, very distantly. Yeah. And that's I knew that once I overcame my first deal, I was gonna get some traction going mentally. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so a lot of people talk about, there's a saying out there in the community that's really popular, which is you're one deal away. and I hear that a lot. And I get the premise of that concept, which is, get that first deal, and that can start you on a trajectory that will change your life forever. And so that is true. I do agree with that. But I do think there's a real downside to that thought as well, that mindset as well, which is just what I think people, if they're not careful, they'll focus on going out there and chasing down and getting a deal.
Yeah.
And somehow that deal now is going to change things, and it won't necessarily.
No.
In fact, the biggest pitfall is people who do a deal or a second deal maybe, and then they go 6 months, 9 months with no deals.
Yeah.
And so the name of the game, I believe, is how do you do deals consistently every month? And so this is our next conversation you and I are going to be having is, okay, you've got this momentum. How do we keep that going so that way you're cashing those checks month in and month out? Now you've got something real. Like, that's the big thing to think about. So I remember my first deal, it was a $6,000 wholesale check. And that was exciting, and it was like exhilarating. But I remember thinking, you know what? I've already spent this. Like, I've got bills due. I've got a family to support.
Yeah.
Where's the next one coming from? I immediately was like, okay, that's great, but now what? What do I do now for another one of these checks? In fact, how do I do 3, 4, 5 of these a month? And so that's the question really that we should be having. The conversation should be, how do I do this again and again and again? And again, that comes back to really having processes and systems in place. But so here you are, we had that conversation. I remember talking about, hey, full-time, is that a good choice? Is that the right thing to do? I've got a family, and that's different for everybody. Like, I would not say to everybody, yeah, quit your job, do this full-time. For the right person though, in your case, it was what you needed to kind of kick you in the pants and get you to do it. Like, there's that pressure of, I got a family to support. I have to go get this done. And sometimes that pressure is enough to like get you out there and get you doing it. Whereas if you're hiding behind the safety of a job, it's really easy to be like, you know what, I'll work on it next weekend.
This isn't for me, a whole bunch of excuses.
It's hard, so I'll just fall back on my job. So what was it? So you're at this point, you've learned all these things, you've gained this knowledge, you've been studying and learning, taking action, going out there and getting leads, making offers. What do you think what was the transformational thing that happened, if you can think of something that just said, you know what, I'm not going to quit. I could right now. I want to, or there's this part of me saying this doesn't work. This is too hard. What made it so that you kept going, whereas most people would maybe quit? What did you do?
I knew I was gonna, play myself out of it, and I kind of put myself in that situation not to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do it. I had quit my job. I couldn't go back, and
you burned the ships in the harbor, basically.
Exactly. No plan B. So that for me was it.
Love it. Yeah.
That for me was it. There wasn't going back. So I started to meet up with all of local investors. I started to talk, to Keegley, Jamil, Pace.
Yeah, all the big players.
And I started to talk their talk. I started to hear what they were saying, things that they were look at. I'm not gonna get this deal because of this situation. I need this house at this number because of this, and all that information started pouring. I started to understand how the business worked, and now I started to make offers. I started to talk to motivated sellers, and here came the first.
Yeah. So your first deal, how many offers do you think it took? Because let's be real, how many offers do you think it took for that first contract that was a successful contract? What would you guess?
I would guess at least it had to be around 500 to 700 or 600. Yeah.
Offers.
Yeah, they don't have to be verbal either.
Written, because some of them were verbal.
Yeah, because I started texting a lot.
Okay,
so I got a lot of no's from texting. But yeah, I would have to say around 500.
That's awesome. I love that, because I tell people typically it takes around 100 to get your first deal, 100 offers. Now, when I say that, I mean kind of solid written offers, so not text or anything, but I mean, that's a huge lesson in and of itself, because most people, and let's be real, if you're watching this right now, ask yourself, would you be willing to make 500 offers to get your first deal? Most people aren't willing to. Most people say, yeah, I would, but when it comes down to it, when they get to that offer number 57 and they got rejection again, again, they're like, you know what, this hurts too much. I don't like this rejection. I'm out.
Yeah.
You just kept going, kept going.
Yeah.
Okay, so 500 offers, now not all written.
Yeah.
Not all written, so a lot of them verbals, a lot of them text.
Yeah.
But you're putting yourself out there, right? I mean, 500 offers in your market, that's putting yourself out there, and that's some vulnerability, but that's what it takes, right? Get out there in your community. The biggest way to get out there and get your name out there is to make offers. I mean, there's no better way to do that. So you make all these offers, and then you get a yes. So let's talk about the deal. What was the deal like?
First one or the second one?
First one.
First one. So first one, I found this deal on Facebook Marketplace.
Cool.
It was an investor. He basically just acquired this property through auction and wanted to keep it, but if he could get some cash for it on a wholesale deal, he would
let it
sell
go.
it. He'll let it go. So I talked to an end buyer.
Yeah.
That was Templeton Walker here on the Valley. Super cool dude. And showed him the deal. He liked it, and he told me, "Man, lock it up." And I did.
Did he tell you his number?
Yeah.
Okay, so you did a reverse wholesale, basically. You got your buyer, kind of their number, went back to the seller, and negotiated in your wholesale fee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
So they're actually doing the rehab now.
Yeah.
That was my first deal.
What were the numbers?
I don't remember the exact numbers. I think it was 329. We were buying it I got the contract for 329, and I think I was selling it for 345. At the end, we got to inspect the property. That number didn't work, and we had to really budge down.
Okay.
He ended up selling it. I got like a 3,000 wholesale fee.
Very cool.
But it got me that experience.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you went through the whole transaction of
I was
contract,
right there.
assign. Did you do a true assignment?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't assign it. Walker told me, "Hey man, we're gonna buy this, and I'm gonna cut you a check."
Gotcha.
So that's how we did the first
Okay.
deal.
So you got so that's one strategy that's really a unique way of wholesaling, which is get your seller kind of in your back pocket, get them kind of on board, interested in selling. But if you're unsure, you know what? I don't know exactly what I could wholesale this for. If you've got a good relationship with the players in your market, you could go to them and say, "Hey, I've got this deal." Now there's got to be some trust there, especially if you start revealing addresses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So be very careful about this. But if you've got a relationship of trust with your cash buyers, you could get your number from your cash buyer, go back, renegotiate in, and kind of build in your fee as a wholesaler. So that was kind of how you did that first one.
Yeah.
So $3,000, nothing to get rich on, nothing to write home about, but hey, it's a deal.
It's a deal.
And that's more about the experience than about the money, especially the first one.
Of course.
Okay, so let's talk about deal number 2.
Deal number 2, it was a mobile home.
Okay.
I first got the seller to agree to $60,000, and we were about to make the contract happen, and she wanted $5,000 more. So my decision was to try to dispo this deal through Kegley.
Okay.
And I was going back and forth with them. If we did do $5,000 more, how much would the spread be for each? So we ended up accepting 65, and we sold it for 80.
Gotcha. So 65 to 80, and then you split the fee. So just for you guys listening, Kegley, a great organization. Their primary focus is on dispositions, and they do 1,000 properties a year or whatever. They're in multiple states. Really great organization. If you guys are in the Valley or maybe even somewhere else, I think they're in like 12 other markets. Shoot me a comment. I'll hook you up with them. But they were able to move your deal to a buyer, and you split the wholesale fee, half them, half you, and made what, 7 something on it, 76,
$75.
$7,500 on your cut on the wholesale fee. Now, I hope you looked at that, Ivan, and said, "Man, if I had my own list of cash buyers, I could have made the 15."
Yes.
All the more reason to start building your cash buyer list. But who cares? You moved the deal. using a player's massive list. Key Eagley's got a massive list. You let them move your deal, and you make $7,500.
Yeah, and for me,
awesome.
it's looking at the game as a long-term investment. You know, I bring value to an investor or to you or to whoever, and they're gonna bring value to me.
Yeah.
You know, especially because I'm new. So that's what I care about right now. You know, smart guys like these bringing value to me is a lot more important than you know, a fat wholesale check. You know.
Well, and the bigger lesson really is in today's environment, in today's market, it's more about the acquisitions than the dispositions. What I mean by that is, if you get a good deal, there are buyers.
Yeah,
and there are big wholesalers in every market that have massive cash buyer list. And if you have zero cash buyer list, you can take your deal to those guys, let them move it, JV with them, and split the wholesale fees, and it's a great way to get your launch.
Yeah.
But since now your goal is to make this a full-time career, then you know the importance of building your own cash buyer list.
No doubt. Actually, in the middle of that transaction, because man, the deal, this deal took 2 months to happen. Tenants didn't want to go out.
Yeah.
We had to extend the contract 3 times. Yeah. You know, I was about to give up.
This is real world wholesaling, right?
I was about to give up on this lady. Excuses left and right, and my wife was just like, this is being very toxic for you. You know, like I know you want this to happen, but I mean, there's other deals over there. But I knew I could make it happen, and we closed. So that was more of a lesson for me. Like, man, if I could overcome this situation right here, dealing with tenants and 3 extensions and all these you know, situations that happened, I can make anything happen.
Yeah, it reminds me of a story. When I was 19 to 21 years old, I did a full-time mission in Argentina, and we would commit people to baptism, but a baptism wasn't a baptism till they're in the font, right? Till they're in the water.
Yeah.
And a wholesale deal is the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I would say probably 30% of our transactions never make it to closing because of issues with the seller, title, tenants, something going on.
Well,
your cash buyer, whatever.
Fun fact, I mean, a lot of you, or your people following you know about the Guzman
Oh
deal.
yeah,
And
Randy Guzman,
Randy Guzman, and I brought you that deal.
Right, that was our deal.
That was our deal, and we were about to close. We were on the horse. That was my first deal.
Yeah.
Prior to all this that we're speaking, and Jerry calls me. You know what? I just found this out. You know, and I fell from the horse right away, and I was just like, it can't happen. But that even gave me more drive and motivation to be like, you know what? I'm gonna get back on the horse, and I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah, so you guys, if you want to watch that series, we did a 4-video series on that deal, and it was a deal we were going to wholesale. We got all the way to like the day of closing. We had our buyer, everything lined up, and then found out that the wholesaler who we were getting the deal from, the whole thing was a big scam, and so we kind of exposed it all. If you want to see the ugly side of this business, watch that video series.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it's great because it's a real eye opener to a lot of people about kind of the shady things that go on and kind of what to watch for. In fact, you know, you and I were talking. Out of hundreds of transactions, I'd never had that situation happen to me. So crazy story. But you guys, I'll put a link in the description if you want to check that out. But yeah, that was kind of one of those. Here we are on this high, and then crash. Deal dies. But that's the reality of this business. I mean, anybody who gets into this has to understand it's not easy. There's going to be obstacles. You're gonna do deals maybe that lose money. I've lost money on deals. You're going to have deals fall apart, and you've got to have the right stomach to do this business the right way. And most people don't want to talk about that. I tend to kind of skip over that side sometimes too, and just focus on, hey, look at all this money you can make in this amazing life. And there is that side of it, but the reality is there's a lot of challenge, and it takes a lot of persistence, and you have to be willing to stomach that rejection, be able to face the reality that most of the people you talk to are going to say no to your offer.
Yeah.
But if you keep at it, there are deals, and you can do this business.
Yeah, definitely. And I was attracted by all the good stuff of the business, for sure. But I found out that it was going to take time, you know, and you know, my deal wasn't going to happen in a month. I mean, it could.
Yeah.
If I was lucky, but you know, I knew it was going to be hard. But persistence, definitely persistence.
But you know, you're off to the right track, because when I see somebody that makes a lot of money really quickly without any challenge, I immediately say, you're in for it now, because you're spoiled by that really fast success. And most of the people I see that do, you know, 1 or 2 deals right out of the gate, really easy, really fast, they end up doing like 4 or 5 bad deals, or they have this like really, because you have to go through that. Yeah. There's just no way around it. You have to. It's the law of the universe that you pay your dues. You reap what you sow. Yeah. And so by paying your dues, Ivan, you're building momentum right now, because now what's going to start to happen is you're going to have people calling you back on offers you made 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And saying, hey, Ivan, you know, is your offer still good? And that's where that momentum starts to really pay off.
Yeah.
So it's exciting to see that. And the advice I'd give you at this point now for deal number 3 and on is really focus every day, be thinking about, how do I focus on my business, on the systems, on the processes, on building my team, leveraging my time to really scale. How do I scale the business? Because that's where you're going to start to get to the multiple deals a month.
Yeah, and one thing that I talked with my wife, and she was very happy for me, and it was a very exciting moment for our family. But I told her, you know what, I'm gonna have to invest 50% of this check into my business.
Back into the business.
There's no way around it, you know, and you know, we were okay with it, but we knew that I have to establish traction, and I have to establish everything that the company needs for it to be successful.
That's a great way. I'm so proud of you for doing that. That's so smart, because it'd be easy to spend that money or take that money and put it into, you know, the family fund, which could use, right? But to be thinking longer term about building the business is so smart, because by reinvesting, now you'll grow even faster.
Yeah.
So that's really smart. Yeah. So I'm proud of you, Ivan. This is really awesome. Let's keep in touch. Let's do another video when you're on like your 10th deal.
Oh, that would be great.
You know, maybe your 20th deal, whatever, and we can kind of talk about going from 1-2 deals now to the next level. But what's your big vision? Keep wholesaling, multiple deals, get into fix and flip. What are you hoping to do?
I would love to fix and flip.
Yeah.
I think that's my long game. I mean, I think wholesaling is always going to be an option, because once you have a property under contract, you can do whatever you want with it. But my long-term goal is flipping for sure. High end.
Let's get into the high. That's where the money's at, baby. The money's in the high end. Yeah, for sure. And hey, if you're listening right now and you'd like to learn how to do this business consistently, 3-5 deals, earn 6, even 7-figure income, be sure to check out fasttrackwithjerry.com, and you can learn more about how I can partner with you on deals. That'd be awesome. And thanks for joining us. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We've got now nearly 500 videos. It's crazy on the channel here. And this is your #1 source for all things wholesaling and flipping. So if you haven't done that, be sure to do that now, and we'll see you on the next video.